Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Your comments have been powerful, compelling, courageous. We appreciate your time to be with us. New Orleans welcomes partnership. You may have read that there is going to be a sweep to send some 250 agents into New Orleans. We welcome partnership, but we do not welcome occupation. What's being planned for our region is not real public safety. It's a political stunt wrapped in badges and guns. Up to 250 Border Patrol agents being lined up to sweep through New Orleans, Jefferson, St. Bernard, and beyond, with almost no notice, no transparency, no meaningful coordination with local leaders. These are militarized federal agents who are not trained in municipal laws, not trained in de-escalation in our neighborhoods, do not know our communities, our culture, or our people. This is a recipe for fear, confusion, and mistakes. We've already seen what this looks like in other cities. In Charlotte, more than 20,000 children stayed home from school because families were terrified of raids. An American citizen was arrested. In Chicago, there were reports of helicopter deployments and tactics that look more like a war zone than a neighborhood. Now they want to bring that same approach to New Orleans under names like Swamp Sweep or Catahoula Crunch. This is not cute. There's nothing cute about our families living in fear. There's nothing funny about workers being told not to show up to work because their boss fears they will be picked up and disappeared into systems that they do not understand. Most immigration violations are civil matters, yet operations are being designed and marketed like parliamentary shows of force. If President Trump truly wants to help New Orleans and the surrounding parishes, there are ways he can do it. Help us recruit and retain well-trained police officers. Help fund modern tools, technology, and data-driven policy. Help invest in training for de-escalation and mental health responses and community engagement. Help strengthen the partnerships between federal, state, and local agencies in a way that is transparent and coordinated and accountable. But not like this. You do not build trust by dropping in armed agents who answer to Washington, do not understand local laws, and then sweep through commercial corridors and neighborhoods. You do not build safety by driving families into shadows, emptying out workplaces and classrooms, and creating an atmosphere where people are afraid to call police when they're victims or witness of crimes. As a congressman from New Orleans, I'm saying very plainly, we will always stand for the rule of law. We will always stand for safe communities. We will always stand against tactics that terrorize families and undermine the trust that true public safety requires. Our community is not a backdrop for political theater. Our people are not props. If this administration wants to partner, then be a partner. Sit down with local officials, share your plan, respect our laws and leadership and our lived reality on the ground. Help us, but not this way. Don't terrorize us. Don't treat people like animals. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your courage to be here today, all of you, for your advocacy and for your experiences. Ms. Shah, based on what you've witnessed with the Trump administration, weaponizing the government and military against citizens in Chicago, what can the residents of Louisiana expect if the Trump administration follows through with plans to send U.S. Border Patrol and National Guard to our state?
Congressman Carter, thank you so much for your remarks and how clearly you delineate the real problem here, which is that the Trump administration is putting forward a false public safety pretext for what it is doing. In fact, the Border Patrol deployments, the troop deployments, they're about consolidating power. They are not about creating safety. They are creating chaos. That is what we have seen in Chicago and Los Angeles. The Trump administration is also misusing government resources that are supposed to be devoted to public safety. As a Cato Institute report recently showed, 25,000 federal law enforcement officers have been redeployed from their main missions, which include combating human trafficking and sex trafficking and drugs. They've been redeployed to civil immigration enforcement, going after people who pose no threat, who just want to be with their families and continue to working and living in this country. That threat of misuse of federal resources is all the more acute as we come up on the World Cup. And in cities across this country where the FBI and federal law enforcement are supposed to be focused on preventing sex trafficking and child trafficking, are they going to be redeployed to go after our neighbors and our loved ones who do not pose any threat?
Thank you, Reverend Black. Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Reverend Black, I've got one quick question, and my time is already far spent. Reverend Black, it is nothing less than shameful that you were assaulted by masked ICE agents simply for praying outside of an ICE processing facility. I represent many Catholics, and I was glad to see that the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops issued a special message last week that expressed strong concern about the vilification of immigrants and recognized the fundamental dignity of all persons. Do you agree with these statements?
Absolutely, I do. And thank you for representing New Orleans. I love New Orleans and the soul of that city. And as you were speaking, I was just reminded that oftentimes the soul gets stronger as the body is attacked and weakened. And that's what we're seeing across this country right now. And I'm grateful for the solidarity across faith communities, that Protestants and Catholics are coming together without any regard for theological difference, because there is a moment of solidarity and uprising that we share across faiths. And New Orleans is a city of many faiths and so much soul. So thank you for representing it well.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Chairman, I yield. Thank you very much for your generosity in allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much. We'll now recognize the gentleman.